G'day everyone, sound demo for the Whipper Clipper. This is one of my projects. You can get the PCBs from my web store. It is a modified Dan Armstrong Blue Clipper. Whoa, 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 don't run away. It's very, very good, trust me. You want to hear the sound demo for this one. I say don't run away because, you know, Blue Clipper, it's been done 1,000 times, but you wait till you hear the sound demo. With these modifications, it sounds very good, in my opinion. And the blind, as I mentioned in the build report, the blind giveaway that I did, you had to guess the effect. A lot of people were quite blown away by the actual sound from this thing. So I hope it impresses you like it has me and others as well. So I've got the back off because in the sound demo, I'm going to be replacing that capacitor that I spoke about in the build report. If you want details on the gain control and the capacitor modification, check the build report. Just realised my washing machine's actually starting to arc up, so I'll just shut the door. Why do these things always happen when I hit the record button? So yeah, anyway, it wouldn't be a do-it-yourself guitar pedal sound demo without a whole bunch of talking at the start. But that's really all I wanted to talk about. Just the value actually on that capacitor is, I'm going to probably do 33 nanofarad, which is the standard, the one that came with the Dan Armstrong Blue Clipper. 3.3 nanofarad, which was recommended, but what I think is too harsh. It's far too much treble in my opinion. And 10 nanofarad, which is what I actually ended up settling with. So let's have a listen to it, and maybe we'll do that capacitor comparison first. Let's hit it. So that was a loop signal, obviously. Something I like to do when you do these sort of comparisons makes it a touch more scientific, because if you play enthusiastically when you do one sound sample and then you don't play a little bit sort of lackluster on the next one, it doesn't create an even playing ground or playing field. So I hope you can see the difference between those three capacitors. Significantly dampens the signal each time you change the capacitor. So make sure that you do that modification and experiment with that capacitor. I think 33 nanofarad is too far. I think 3.3 nanofarad has too much detail. You can hear a lot of noise and stuff like that. You can in front of my amp. I don't know how the sound sample came through, but in front of my amp, there's just there's too much detail, too much noise. You can just hear too much stuff coming through that you don't really want to hear. So somewhere around 10 nanofarad would be pretty good, but experiment and change that one to your own taste. So now I'm just going to show you just a few riffs through the pedal and the gain control, and I'll slowly crank up the gain control so you can hear the difference it makes on the output effect, the distorted output effect. Let's hit it. So that is the Whipper Clipper, and the Whipper Clipper is a perfect example of why I like to build pedals, because my Blue Clipper is not like your Blue Clipper, and your Blue Clipper is not like my Blue Clipper, and you can build these things the way that you like. So my 10 nanofarad example may not be to your cup of tea, may not suit your equipment. You might like to have your treble up more on your amp, and etc, etc. You can change that the way that you want when you build one. And if you're new to building, it's a good pedal to start with because it's so simple. I mean, you know, there's not much to it as far as the actual effect goes. I would probably just recommend don't put in a 1590A because, like I've said in the past, that ups the skill level quite significantly when you try to do that. So just put in a 1590B and you'll be fine. So I hope you like it. I certainly do. It could be also something that you could consider as a base to make your own little spin on it. When I was playing before, I was just sort of thinking what it would sound like if you had sort of like a mid-scooped tone control for it, or some TMB tone control where you can, you know, just chop out the middle and hear what that sounds like to give it a bit more of a metal edge. Or you could use it at the front of, for the front end of another gain stage, or you could put a gain stage in front of it. The possibilities are endless. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and all that. Have a good day.